Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. Happy Monday to you and your family. Hope you're having had a great weekend and everything is safe and sound in your world. That being said, I'm not a financial advisor if you are new to the channel, okay? So hope you understand that I just love teaching people how to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. If you want to learn something more, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. You can go ahead and become a community member. We have over 200 members presently, and it's an amazing experience. We all learn and grow together. I have a Signal group, Trading Academy, and of course the community. Very last thing too, I have discounts for military and third world countries slash low-income housing. So message me direct if that fits your category, or if you fall into that category and you want to continue moving forward. That being said, though, we're looking here at Bitcoin pretty straightforward. We had a green weekend followed by a red Monday. Big surprise. Not really all that much, honestly. So we can see that there's always some significant days that happen more so on Mondays and Fridays. They usually be the opposite of what happens on the weekends. And that is no surprise here today. So as soon as the Asian market opened at right around 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, you could maybe say 8 p.m. Eastern, you see this red candle start forming and working its way down. It's been selling off ever since this candlestick closed right at about 5 o'clock. So what does that mean for us? Well, it just really implies that the price is potentially on its way back down and is so far tentatively bouncing off a key level support on Fibonacci at 29,600. So 29.6 is essentially a potential support level right now. But there's no doubt that closing anywhere below, just say 30,100 would be disadvantageous, because not only would it be, taking all the activity from yesterday away, it would be a bearish engulfing candle. And that commonly, when that happens, you see prices move down from there. We saw one right here, of course. This is a bearish engulfing candle there, bearish engulfing candle here. And it's just very natural for the price to come down as a result of that, because that 24-hour period is controlled by the bears, and there's usually a continuation of at least a half to a full 3 or 4 days. Or in this case here, we saw about 5 or 6 days to the downside. Not saying that's going to happen specifically, but we could very well see a retest of 27,000. Or in this case, just keep in mind, it was more so 26,700 or 26,800 if we round up a little bit. 26.8 is essentially the lowest point that we saw the price wick down on, what was that, May 12th. And that was, what, I think Thursday or Friday of last week. So again, not fantastic, and ultimately still on the downtrend. We're underneath the 20-day SMA. That's a big deal right there. Getting back up above that would be very helpful. I know we're a little ways away from there, but generally speaking, that's going to be a point in which the price will probably come up and get rejected, if it were to even come up that high. So just keep that in mind. We were expecting somewhat of a rally, and this might have been it. This may have been the rally that we were hoping for. Unfortunately, not all that strong. But the bottom line is it could not surpass 31,400. And it's had trouble getting past 31.4. So you could see the range of about 32,000 is probably going to be a strong resistance level, because you can see at this point, this price point of 32,000, that's roughly where the price gets rejected and turns right back around. So generally speaking, that is essentially what we're looking at there. And if we look at the RSI, we are up over 30, which is nice, but we are potentially going to retest that. So that could and should work as a support level, which does kind of imply that 29,600 may be the immediate bottom, at least a tentative support level that we may be seeing on the RSI. Now, looking at the MACD, we can see this potential convergence isn't converging whatsoever. It's pretty much going parallel and sideways. That just kind of implies that there's no massive control from bears or bulls in this time frame, basically just telling us that we're starting to see a channel, whereas the price comes down as low as 26.8 and at a max effectively right around 32,000. So 27 to 32 is effectively the range that we're seeing right now, and we could be range bound for some time. It may drop below, of course, we're anticipating that at one point, but in the immediate future, we might be range bound between those two, within that $5,000 range. Nice 5 to 10% swing per day. We'll never, we'll never know, but truth be told, that's essentially what we're looking at there on the daily. Looking at the 4-hour here, though, we can see that the price is kind of averaging itself out around the 20-day SMA, and of course the 50 is coming down to work as a tentative resistance. So just bear in mind we're underneath that, as well as 50 on the RSI, so that is essentially disadvantageous, showing us that the price will be more likely to move down in the immediate future than up. Again, this is not specifically 100% foolproof, but those are things that it's kind of telling us at this point with a 4-hour, the transitionary time frame, that's supposed to translate positively. In other words, we had this awesome little situation where we're up over 50 on the RSI for just say about 12 hours. That essentially is no longer valid because we've broken down below 50 on the RSI, we're underneath 50 on the SMA. Oftentimes those two work hand in hand together, okay? So in most cases, we should expect the price to continue down from here versus up based on those situations occurring right now concurrently, okay? We've also got a potential, well, no potential anyways here. Honestly, it more so looks like a potential MACD divergence, you could say, if it continues to progress lower. So if 50 on the RSI works as a resistance consistently, and same with the SMA, we will see this converge essentially to the downside, and that would tell us that a short position may be advantageous for Bitcoin, okay? That's essentially what it's telling us. Taking a look at the 1 hour, we can see here on the 1 hour that we are at a 3 right now on TD sequential. So what that basically just means is that we're at a 9 previously, it came all the way back down, of course, 9 hours of bearish continuation, tries to leg up and gets reset, and now we're back down to a 3. So this could imply that we're going to see some sideways action for the next 24 to 48 hours, but it also could imply that it's preparing to leg down again. The important thing is that we don't leg down as low as 26,800. Sorry, I misspoke, 28,800. 28.8 is important to stay above, and the main reason why is because that is the most recent low, okay? If we're continuing to make higher lows, we'll possibly be in good shape and continue our way back up here. We're making higher highs and higher lows still, but if this next one here comes down below this point, then we're going to have some problems. We're essentially making lower lows or and lower highs effectively as a result, and that would be disadvantageous. You could argue that we're making lower highs right now as well, but again, the 1 hour time frame I prefer not to use for this type of analysis. When you look at the higher highs and higher lows, it's more important to acknowledge on the 4 hour, and the 4 hour is telling us the same story. Okay, so just keep in mind, for the most part, we're still in good shape based on the fact that we are making higher lows and essentially higher highs. So once again, just something to keep in mind. But I would say a close today above 28,800 would be helpful. Not necessarily saying that would be excellent, because obviously we want to close somewhere above 30,000 so we don't have this bearish engulfing candle. But the day is still young. We'll definitely see what happens here soon. One last thing I want to take a look at is I think the cloud is probably, we lost the cloud, which basically just tells us that that is now a resistance level. Okay, so the price could travel sideways, come up and get rejected by the cloud, and essentially continue its way back down. So overall, in the general sense here, obviously the macro is not looking so good. We understand that we're in a downward trend. We're underneath the 20-day SMA on the monthly, and we're potentially going to test the 50 on the monthly as well. That being said, that could range us all the way down to 22 to 24,000 range if we're to lose the support level at 26,800. That said, the macro looks terrible, right? The micro was looking advantageous over the weekend, but again, weekend, low volume, the whales are not necessarily in there manipulating the market. They're doing what they want at this point. So we got to acknowledge the fact that they want the price to come down, and that's essentially where it's at for the moment. So long story short, the short-term time frames here, the 1 hour and the 4 hour, are both looking disadvantageous, which will translate into a even further disadvantageous scenario in the macro. Okay, so simply put, we're not in great shape here as we were over the weekend, but it's very standard again when we have the volume increase here today. We're going to start seeing some control in the market. So we'll find out here soon what the direction is. I think with today's candlestick close being underneath 30,100, that'll tell us pretty definitively we should expect some downside moving forward. Because once again, this 24-hour period, the bears controlled the market and erased all the gains from yesterday. That's effectively what it's telling us. All right, so just pay attention to the one-day candlestick close here today. I think that'd be helpful to understand. And obviously, if we start making lower lows, we break 28,800. At that point, we would kind of have confirmation the price is definitely moving down. Right now, majority of indicators are telling us it wants to go down from here. That's just kind of the case there. So be cautious with any long positions. Obviously, careful with short positions too, because there's no guarantees at this point, but it definitely looks like it's shaping up to want to come back down and possibly test 26,800 again. Just kind of has that feeling. But we'll see here soon. I hope I'm wrong and the price goes up. That's always the goal, because most of us don't like to see 10 to 20% down on our altcoins with all that progress gone, right? That sucks. And that's just the way the world works right now in crypto. So, either way, enough about that. I hope you had a good experience here. If you want to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is the site, link in the description below. I look forward to working with you. Once again, I do have military and third world country discounts for low-income housing. Message me if you have any questions. Otherwise, have yourself a great rest of your day. Happy Monday. Make it a good week. We'll see you soon.